today down at Australia's infamous Moana Beach on this vlog as I take some surfing lessons. Here we go!
Hi, it's Mia. I'm down at Moana Beach on February 20th and it's 11 o'clock. Today down at Moana, there's a northeasterly wind, meaning it's coming from that direction and pushing across this way. So the wind is an offshore wind and the tide is currently outgoing.
Today the wind is around 10 to 15 knots, so it's not very blowy. It's an offshore wind which keeps the waves from breaking until they become a bit steeper than usual. Because there's more of a drop, they become a bit more dumpy, so they're a bit harder to ride for beginners because they don't crumble, which is a lot easier to ride because you have to pop up a lot quicker and you have to kind of know how to ride that wave because they're a lot faster, a lot steeper, a lot more fun. It was pretty glassy today. There was barely any cloud cover and the temperature was around mid 20 degrees. In the area of Onkaparinga Council, there are 4 beaches you can drive on: Aldinga, Moana, Selix and Silver Sands beaches. To enter the beach, you must pay an $8 access fee or have a valid beach permit. There are restrictions on the beach which are clearly signposted. You are expected to stay on the hard sand between the soft sand and the dunes at the top of the beach, and the wet sand next to the water. The speed limit on the beach is around 10 kilometers an hour for the safety of beachgoers. Any failure to comply to the rules equals a fine of $187. While driving on the beach does add an extra element of fun, it causes a series of environmental impacts. Erosion is a major side effect caused by the car's tyres digging in and moving the sand from the top of the beach to the shoreline, washing it away. Despite the fact that cars are moving slowly over the beach, continuous use of this stretch promotes the unsustainable migration of this sand. The more sand that gets washed away, the barer the beach gets, exposing the dunes along the back end of the beach. While beaches naturally erode and the sand moves along the coast, the cars make it erode much faster and push all migrating sand back down, stopping the beach from rebuilding. With the sand dunes exposed, storms will continue to eat them away until they are no more, completely destroying the beach and exposing the land. Hi, it's Mia, down in Moana on March 22nd. Temperature, mid 20 degrees today with a high of 28. The winds are southeasterly today, so that means they're pushing across from that direction. So it's a onshore wind. It's very calm, there's barely any waves, only little shoreys, and there's an outgoing tide, and yeah, join me. As you can see, just super flat, a little bit wind blown over the top, over the surface, but overall, like, lovely day, but it's just nothing there to catch. Right there's this like peak wave that we had for most of the day, just really tiny little waves rolling onto the beach. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's about as big as they got. So today obviously it was really nice weather, but it was super flat and calm. There was no waves until the last 45 minutes of the day. So as a group we just kind of hung around, we did some surf life-saving activities, learned how to rescue people, all the different sorts of techniques, learned how to paddle on our knees on the boards. We did some fitness games, including like swimming, paddling, all that sort of thing. We did raft building, and my group was the fastest. We got up in our raft within like a minute. Yeah, no, it was really good. There was only a few waves in the last half an hour, 45 minutes or so. So I was trying to catch waves on my board backwards, trying to stick my fins out, and then when stood up on the board would naturally start to turn because the fins would come into the water and cause that anchor. but it was really hard to stay onto the board because the ride was only 2 seconds long, so before you go straight into the sandbank. So yeah, I know, I was trying my best. Nearly got there a couple times, but yeah, definitely something I'm going to try to work on in the future. Yeah. So some of the rescue techniques we learned was in the water techniques, when you're coming up to someone with nothing on you, no flotation device or anything like that. And the other one we learned was with a board. We learned two with the board. So the first technique we learned when we were in the water is that a person who is drowning has the tendency to grab and pull you down, to pull themselves up. So for your personal safety, you would kind of swim over to the person, ask them like, do you need help? Are you okay? But under the water, you kind of have your leg out. So if they do try to, you know, have that natural instinct to grab onto you, you would be able to just gently nudge them away for your safety, and then you'd be able to, you know, call in for help. Say, yeah, this person's definitely struggling. Call over like a surfer or anything, anyone around you with some form of flotation device. If you do have, if you're in that position where you have that access to a flotation device, particularly like a bigger thing like a softboard or a big SUP or something like that, even just a surfboard, anything really, like a bodyboard, something like that that someone can grab onto. So yeah, you paddle across them, you'd be like, yeah, you're right mate, like, are you all good? If they're like, no, I'm struggling here, they need something to grab onto, so you just hop off the back of your board and you kind of shove it over to them so they can just hold on, you know, grab on, just like cling on, like, you know, have that moment to like think about what's happened. Like, they're not drowning anymore, they've got something to hold on to, and in the meantime you can give them a second, obviously, but yeah, give them a second to realise that they're alive, and then help get them on the board, help them pull their chest onto the board, laying down, and then flip their legs around the back. So they're kind of just laying on the front end of the board, and then just holding onto the nose or something like that, nice and far up the board. So then you yourself could hop on the back and kind of slot yourself, like your chest kind of sits between their knees, that sort of thing. Your face, unfortunately, is where their butt is, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. And just help paddle them in. Obviously, you're gonna want to avoid probably going straight into the waves and all that sort of thing. Like, you wouldn't want to, you know, you probably want to catch a wave in or something like that, just to make the job easier for yourself. But yeah, anyway, the takeaway from that is, when someone is drowning, ask if they're drowning first. They may just be stuffing around. The drowning person has the natural instinct to cling on, hold on. So if you do not have that flotation device available for them, it's a good idea to approach them, see if they're okay. But for your own personal safety, just be ready to, you know, gently give them a nudge away if they do try to cling onto you and accidentally start to drown you. So yeah, a couple of things we learned today from Cheryl. Yeah, hopefully never have to use them, but I don't know. So the final technique we learned today is probably the technique used in the most serious situation, where you've got a pretty much fully unconscious patient, or just someone who's just so knackered from all the effort they put in, they just can't physically pull themselves onto that board. So you're going to have to do a lot of the effort for them. So how you get a dead weight essentially onto the board, you flip it upside down. So you hop off the back of the board, obviously be in the water. You have your board flipped over. So you got your kind of like, you know, if you're in a softboard or something like that, you have your shiny kind of hard side up on the top, it's poking out. You kind of want to just chuck the person onto the board, just pull them up, grab them behind, you know, the shoulders. Have them behind the shoulders. Just pull them like kind of halfway up onto the board, or as much as you need, just to get a decent amount of their weight onto the board. That should be quite hard work, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. That person's dead, essentially. Then what you gotta do is kind of flip the board back over with them kind of on it. So you'd have, when you pull them onto the board, you probably have like, you know, this much on them. So when you flip it, their back end comes onto the board. So you then have their middle section kind of, hopefully, if you've done it right, sitting on the board. So then once you've got that area onto the board, then it's reasonably easy to pull their legs and their arms around the right way. So you can, you know, take them into safety. You'd want probably their middle section on the board so you can easily swing their arms and legs around. So that's the technique you'd use definitely in a pretty bad situation when that person's not in a good spot. It's definitely a really important technique to know and be able to use if you're ever put in that situation. So thank you so much for following me along this little journey. I definitely have lots of fun just going for the day off school, really, just getting to hang around the beach and, you know, be outdoors. Me signing off the vlog for now. I hope it wasn't too boring. I did talk at the screen for like, 12 minutes, so I hope it's not too long. It's going to be longer than that now because it's nearly 30 seconds, but yeah, thank you so much.